So Cisco as a company has been very entrenched since its beginning about the customer. So the good thing here is that the focus and the DNA and how it's been built has really been revolved around that customer success. And I think that the key success that we've had in that space is that we really strive to be a partner, not just a vendor. We want to be a part of the solution. We want to help customers grow their business. We want to make sure they're successful. Hi. Curt Hill, Vice President Technical Support with Cisco Systems. Cisco is one of the leading suppliers of internetworking and gear to build infrastructures for companies. Responsible for customer service as a whole, not only in the post-support cycle for day two customers, but certainly in unique circumstances where we have issues we've got to resolve, both on a large and small scale. So my job is to be the advocate for the customer within the company and balance the needs of both the customer and the company to make sure we have a good issue resolved. So my responsibility is global, thank you, so there's no continent we don't deal with, and no company we haven't touched, and so it's a great opportunity for us to be in a position where we get to see all facets of the industry, not just a North American SKU. We get to see how everybody's using technology and implementing those things across the globe, so absolutely global. Early on in the first several years, we've really designed how we measure that, and it was originally by a transactional process. And that's when it was really formalized, really on in its infancy. And that's really kept part of the culture going, is how we've grown that and morphed that over the years to make sure we were consistent in keeping track of what our customers think about us. So certainly as a company, we want to be one or two in every category we play in. We want to make sure that our customer satisfaction is at a level that is beneficial both to our customers and the people we deal with, as well as the company. And more importantly, I think that we want to make sure that we're increasing that year over year to make sure we're embedding loyalty, not just satisfied customers, but embed a loyalty number into that. So it's really about becoming their partner and having them loyal versus just satisfying a customer. First and foremost, as an employee, part of my compensation is tied to satisfaction. So it becomes very important to us as a company to make sure we're measuring and looking at that holistically and how we can improve it. So we're all on the hook to make sure our customers are satisfied. And I think any company that doesn't tie their rewards and recognition to that are missing an opportunity to really drive the culture. So that's one piece. The second component certainly, as our satisfaction increase, we see a better market share. Again, that loyalty is a real player that we want to play to our strength, and so making sure that those numbers and those measurements really accelerate those two things for us is a key contributor, right? And that's one of the things I think that sets Cisco apart from a lot of other companies. It's about being a partner, not just a vendor in that space. So one of the key factors, I think, in being successful with our customers is understanding their business. And certainly, we've had to look at how we measure our success in those by verticals, by horizontal cuts, by industry standards, and each of those has a unique demand of us as a company. And so as we've looked at how we survey and how we get the information from them, we have changed the methodologies over the years and adapted it to the needs, but certainly the questions that we ask and the information we solicit and the data points we gather, there are pieces that are generic that cover all of them, and then there's specific pieces to our role within them. So for example, we certainly want to understand how we are easy to do business with, for example. So that may be a purchasing, business interaction discussion. We want to understand how our support is doing. So that's a different conversation. So each of those components are surveyed as a respective component throughout the cycle of our process. In that process, it's done yearly as well. So we have surveys that cover the year, and then we have transactional surveys that cover spot incidents. So we have a couple ways of surveying it. We got to be careful here because we don't want to over-survey our folks. But we certainly want to get enough data. So for a transactional, for example, if you were to call into Cisco for support, immediately upon closure of that issue, you would get a quick 5-point survey to say, how do we do in handling that spot issue? If you're talking about a larger discussion over the account, that may become a yearly discussion or a bi-yearly discussion. So we have several groups that meet on a regular basis where we bring customers in that are customer advisory groups for us. So we keep them very close to us because they give us really the heartbeat of what's out there and how we're doing. And we host those events on a regular basis, as well as larger events that are much more industry-wide that most customers will attend and be a part of that. But we definitely have the listening posts, not only from spot direction, but also from a standard of what do we need to do better? What do we need to do faster? What is working? What's not working? And so those are certainly guideposts for us, definitely in the industry, to have those and continue to have those. So measurement really is kind of multifaceted because you have different components that you really look at. But really what we really want to concentrate on is have we given the level of support needed to supply a customer with success, right? Our job is to make sure that they're successful in their industry. That can come from a couple of facets. If you look at the results base, and we have a lot of companies out there that work really hard at customer satisfaction, they don't get the results, right? So we don't want to mess up the discussion between or cloud the discussion between hard work and results. We always want to make sure our customers are successful. And that's really about running their infrastructure. That's keeping their uptime, that's keeping them functional, that's keeping their applications running, because that's where their money and their big bets are, taking care of their customers. So we look at a couple things. We look at certainly uptime in the industry for our customers. We look at the loyalty satisfaction index that's out there, and we like to see that number. We've seen that number increase year over year. We look at our transactional based pieces, which are certainly indicators of how well we're doing on a spot point. We also look at things like renewal, right? A big issue at the end of the year is, do they want to do business with us again? And so if you look at those contexts, we see great success in our satisfaction index because customers still want to do business with us. That doesn't mean we don't have hiccups along the way, but I think what we've done is establish a reputation, and more importantly, the behavior and the DNA, that we will be a player when their chips are down. We will be there to help make sure we do whatever's necessary to keep their infrastructure up and running and to help them through the business practices. So when we talk externally to customers, there's a couple of opportunities. We have a lot of opportunity, and we're invited to talk to customers on a regular basis, whether it be in strategic planning processes that they have, whether it be their conferences or their directives, or whether it be our push in terms of how we do our traditional marketing and such. And so all that we always embed in there is how we do as a company from a satisfaction standpoint. So we're always pushing that out at every opportunity, and it's fun. I think any organization, especially in the service organization, has to be one that's adaptive and continue evolving. So it's important to create the culture that says it's okay to look at our shortcomings, our failures, where we've made mistakes, but taking those and implementing fixes to those longer term so that we don't do the same thing over and over. A lot of companies will do the same thing over and over and over again, and it frustrates customers when they're not getting positive results. So it's about learning and taking steps. So I'd highly recommend that companies get really involved in the fact of organizational learning, right? Fixing once and solving many.